All right. So good morning, good afternoon, good evening, everyone. My name is Amit Mistry, and I work at the National Institutes of Health in the US. And on behalf of the DSI Africa Coordinating Center and our team at NIH, thank you so much for joining and welcome to our third virtual networking exchange event. To get us started, we just have a short icebreaker poll. We just want to know what country you are joining from today. So if you could take a moment, go to this website that's shown on the screen, www.menti.com, and enter the code that's on the screen. Alternatively, you can use the QR code that's shown on the screen. And one other option is just to use the link that's in the chat. Just take a moment, let us know what country you're coming from while we have a few more people joining the meeting today. So yeah, everyone who's just joining, just let us know what country you are joining from, and you can use the poll instructions that are on the screen. And here you should be able to see countries that people are listing. Those of you who are just joining, just take a minute to go to this website, menti.com, and use the code that you see here, and let us know what country you are coming from. All right, so thank you. We see a lot of people from South Africa, Ghana, Uganda, United States, Nigeria, Mali, really diverse group today. So thank you all for joining. Keep entering your information in the poll for those of you who are joining. And we'll get started with our presentation right here. All right, so and I see people are using the chat as well. Thank you for that. So once again, welcome everyone to our virtual networking exchange. And for those of you who have not joined one of these events in the past, just to let you know that a networking exchange is really meant to be an informal opportunity for you to learn about different data science and health activities happening across Africa, and also an opportunity to network with people that you may want to partner or collaborate with in the future. It's really meant to be informal. And today we're going to be focusing primarily on academic programs, including the DSI Africa projects, as well as some projects happening outside of the DSI Africa consortium. And just to give you a sense of how today's event is organized, it's a very long event, but it's really meant to be a very relaxed opportunity. We'll start with this welcome, and then I'll hand it to my colleague Francis to tell you a bit more about the DSI Africa program. And then we'll move into the bulk of the meeting is these networking rounds. We'll have 3 rounds today. And during each of these rounds, you'll have the opportunity to choose a breakout room, a Zoom breakout room to go into. And once you enter that room, you'll hear a few very short flash talks about different projects. And then you'll also have some time for Q&A with a moderator in the room, and you can have some Q&A with the different presenters. The first round will focus on the DSI Africa projects, and they've been grouped as research hubs, training projects, ethical, legal, and social implications projects, as well as some of our DSI Africa-wide projects, including the Coordinating Center and the Open Data Science Platform. So that will be our first round of networking, and we'll repeat that in the second round as well. And the third round will feature different academic projects happening outside of the DSI Africa consortium, and they've been grouped by the region that those projects are based in. Finally, we have a special funder session featuring our colleague Ivana Jelic from the Chan Zuckerberg Initiative, and she'll be presenting a little bit more about their work and also taking some Q&A from the audience. So briefly, that's how today's event will be structured. a few logistical notes. Right now, everyone's microphones are muted because we are such a large group. They'll be muted until you move into breakouts. And once you move into breakouts, you'll be able to speak directly. Please also know that this session and the breakouts will all be recorded, and they'll be posted on the YouTube channel a little bit after the meeting. And if you would like more information on any of the DSI Africa projects, you please go to the website. Finally, if you have any technical issues, please contact Francis or myself. And with that, I will hand it over to Francis.
Thanks, Amit. And I'd like to welcome everybody to today's networking exchange. As Amit said, my name is Francis Agama, and I'm part of the DSI Africa Coordinating Center team, and my role is a project coordinator. So my task here is to give you a summary of what DSI Africa is, and then during the breakout sessions, you can go to any of the sessions and get to find out more. So harnessing data science for health discovery and innovation in Africa, DSI Africa is an NIH Common Fund program that was launched in September 2021 after several consultations and engagement with various stakeholders within the continent and outside the continent. Currently, funding worth 75 million USD have been provided, and these funding are from 12 NIH institutes, centers, or offices, including the offices for Strategy for Data Science, Fogati International Center, and then the NIBIB. These funding are made available to 19 awards, and these awards are across the African continent. And each award has collaborating sites, either in Africa or outside Africa. So you could see on the right the African map showing the various countries where we have DSI Africa project site. To find more about DSI Africa, we have put together the Coordinating Center website and then the NIH website. So you could feel free to visit the website to find out more. So next slide. Yeah, so these 19 awards are categorized into research hubs, research training programs, LC project, and then the Open Data Science Platform, and then the Coordinating Center. So with the aim of leveraging data science technologies and then transforming biomedical research and behavioral research into providing solutions that will improve healthcare, the Research Hub is responsible for applying data science to critical health problems in Africa. So there are 7 of them. And then the training programs, they are mainly focusing on training faculty and then developing curriculum for master's and PhD training in data science. The LC projects are responsible into looking at the bioethical, legal, and social science analysis of data science. They also look into data governance policy, data sharing, data privacy, and all of those ethical issues related to data science work. And then the Elwazi Open Data Science Platform and the Coordinating Center, where I'm from, is a big arm of the DSI Africa initiative. And then the ODSP is responsible for developing a platform that will promote open science in the African continent and beyond. And then the Coordinating Center, under the leadership of Dr. Michelle Skelton, is responsible for the logistics administration, putting everybody together. For example, the Coordinating Center is leading these networking exchanges that you have participated. Next slide. You may be wondering how to get involved in DSI Africa. Probably you have received an email about this networking exchange via someone, or probably from the Coordinating Center mailing list. One way to get involved is to sign up to our newsflash mailing list. So the Coordinating Center provides a monthly newsflash, and the newsflash details funding opportunities, upcoming DSI activities, and training, fellowship, and all other information that are relevant to DSI Africa, and even AI and machine learning training. Another arm that you could get involved in DSI Africa is to participate in the partnerships and outreach working group. This working group is very unique, and it is also spearheading this networking exchange activities that you are participating today. This working group is open to DSI Africa Consortium members and non-DSI Africa Consortium members. We have industry partners, government officials that are part of this working group. So feel free to join this working group. Once you visit the website, you sign up to the working group mailing list, you'll get a notification later on that you have been subscribed to the working group, and then you get to participate in the monthly working group meetings. One of the major activities of the consortium is the consortium, the annual consortium meetings that we do organize. And then the third DS Africa consortium meeting will be happening in November 3rd to 10 in Kigali, Rwanda. Some sections of the consortium meeting is open. For example, the day one of the consortium meeting is open. We will also have an in-person networking exchange. The only unfortunate thing is that if you want to participate in the consortium meeting, you would have to fund yourself. Amit, over to you.
Yes, thank you. Thanks so much, Francis. So now we're getting ready, getting prepared to move into our networking rounds. And again, the way this works is that in a moment you'll see either a pop-up on your screen or you'll click on the button called Breakout Rooms on the bottom of your Zoom toolbar, and you'll be presented with 6 options, and you'll be able to choose which breakout room you want to go into. The first breakout room is focused on 3 of the research hubs that are part of DSI Africa. The second breakout room is also research hubs, but 3 of the different programs that are listed here. We also have the next 2 rooms, rooms 3 and 4, will be focused on the training projects within DSI Africa. The 5th room is our ethical, legal, and social implications research projects. And finally, if you'd like to learn more about the Elwazi Open Data Science Platform or the DSI Africa Coordinating Center, I recommend you go to breakout room number 6. Obviously, you can't go to multiple rooms during this, or you will not have enough time to go into multiple rooms, but we will be repeating this in the next hour. So at this time, Francis, if the rooms are open, we encourage you to go into the breakout rooms. If you see the pop-up, you can choose from there. If you don't see a pop-up, you go to the bottom of your Zoom toolbar, and you should see a button that looks like this. If you don't see that button, you can try to click on the 3 dots, and that should give you more options, and you'll see something called breakout rooms. And so let's try that. You'll move into breakout rooms. There'll be a facilitator there. There'll be some presenters. You'll hear some short presentations, and then you'll have some time for Q&A with the presenters. And if you have any difficulty getting to a breakout room, you can use the chat and let us know which room you'd like to go into, and we'll do our best to move you there as quickly as possible. As a reminder, we're a very large group, so we appreciate everyone's patience. It might take a few minutes to get the breakout rooms going. I should also mention, if you're a presenter, please be sure to go ahead and go into your room at this time. Francis, anything you need to add here? Anything?
So the breakout rooms are open to all the networking round 1 and 2 is for DS Africa project. So all the various presenters for DS Africa project, please rename yourself and add presenter and your project name to it so that the facilitators can be able to assign you the necessary privileges or rights to be able to present.
And I'll just add, if you aren't sure which room to go into, room 6 is a good place to start, so you can learn more about the DSI Africa program more broadly. You can also use the link that I just put in the chat, and you'll see links to each of these projects where you can actually get a little bit more information if that's helpful. And I see someone has their hand raised, and we ask that you, because we're a large group, if you have a question, Mugume, if you have a question, if you could please use the chat, and we'll do our best to get back to you in the chat. Thank you. Hello, everyone who's returning to the main room. We're going to move into a short break before we begin the next round of networking. So during that break, feel free to respond to this poll, and we'll provide a little more instructions in just a moment. All right. Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the plenary. I hope you had a good round of networking. Now we're going to move into just take a short break. So if you need to step away from your computer to stretch your legs or get a cup of coffee or tea, this is your chance. We're just going to take a short break. During that break, we would actually love to get your input. So if you don't mind, you can use the QR code or the website listed at the bottom of the screen here. We'd love to get your input on, in a few words, how would you describe the field of data science for health in Africa? Feel free to input directly into this poll, and it'll populate a word cloud. And we'll begin the next round of networking in about 2 to 3 minutes. So just sit tight while we get that started. Again, the poll question's on the screen, and I will also put a link to it in the chat. Let's see. So you can use the QR code on the screen. You can go to this website, menti.com, and use the code that's shown right here. Alternatively, you can click on the link that's in the chat. And I see that, Salim, you have a question. I'd prefer, if you won't mind, because we're a large group, if you could just put your question into the chat and we'll respond over there. We have almost 200 people in the room, so thank you for your understanding. And while we're waiting, I'm going to go ahead and show the results. And the question was, in a few words, how would you describe the field of data science for health in Africa? You're welcome to continue adding into your thoughts. And you can enter multiple entries if you'd like. So this is how do you describe the field of data science? And the key word here is challenging, coming through very loud and clear. There's emerging, promising, great potential, high potential, great learning experience, rapidly evolving, humongous, timely, great. A lot of very positive words here. So thank you for all your input. Problem solving, evolving, awesome, early stages, under harnessed, early stages, nascent, prosperous, scattered data, game changer. Lots of great input. Keep the input coming. And I'll go ahead and get us started on the next round of networking. And here we go. So thanks everyone for participating in the first round of networking, and apologies if any of you had any difficulty. We're doing our best to help out on the back end to make things run as smoothly as possible. And again, we're now moving into networking round 2, and these are the same breakout rooms and the same projects. So if you were able to spend the first round learning about the hubs, we encourage you to take a moment to learn about the training or the ethical, legal, and social implications projects. There's a lot of variety here. I'll briefly mention that there were a few projects that were unavailable today. So unfortunately, they don't have representatives today, but you can learn about them on the website. And you are also welcome. There should be a contact person on the website as well. So if there's a project here you weren't able to learn about, feel free to contact them through the website. Again, we have 6 breakout rooms. The first 2 breakout rooms are focused on the research hubs. The second 2 breakout rooms are on the research training projects. The 5th breakout room is on the ethical, legal, and social implications projects. And the last room is the DSA Africa-wide projects, including the El-Wazi Open Data Science Platform and the Coordinating Center. So if you're new to DSI Africa, I would highly recommend going to breakout room 6. Otherwise, you're welcome to choose any other room, and we'll, Francis, are you ready to open up the rooms? Are they already? Yes, the
so
rooms are
already open.
the rooms are open. So you should see a pop-up on your screen that provides you an opportunity to join any of these rooms. If you don't see that, go to the bottom of your Zoom toolbar and you'll find a button that looks like this. You may need to click on the 3 dots to see this button. And then that'll also present you with the 6 options to choose. If you still have any difficulty, feel free to type into the chat which room you'd like to go into, and we'll manually move you into the room of your choice. Please feel free to move into the rooms now, and we'll be working as quickly as we can to move you if you have any other difficulty. So with that, we'll commence with networking round 2. Thank you, everyone. All right, hello everyone. I hope you had a good round of networking just now. We're now going to take a short transition break while we set up the breakout rooms for the last round of networking. While we do that, we encourage you to respond to this poll that's shown on the screen here. You can use the QR code on your phone, or you can use the website shown at the bottom of the page. The question is, in just a few words, what do you think is the biggest challenge to using data science to improve health? And we'll just take just a few minutes to get your input. This is also an opportunity if you need to get up, get a glass of water, or take a break. This is your chance, and we'll come back with everyone in just about 2 or 3 minutes. And yes, the link to the poll is now in the chat as well. So again, take a minute to respond to the poll. What do you think is the biggest challenge to using data science to improve health in Africa? And just to give you a sense of some of the responses that are coming in, you can see them on the screen. Please continue to add your input. And I'll just read some of the responses out loud. Data is the core issue here, as well as funding, data availability or access to data, quality of data, absence of data, having digitalized data, lack of expertise, completeness, collaboration, data in silos, human resources capacity. Some very interesting responses here. Thank you all for your input here. Awareness, uniformity, legal restrictions, government buy-in, knowledgeable mentors, computer literacy, de-identification of data. Some very important, very significant challenges. Thank you all for your input here. Feel free to continue adding. We'll be sure to share the results of the poll with folks who've participated. So thank you for your input here. And I'm going to take a minute to explain how the final round of networking will go. It will be a little bit different than the previous 2 rounds. So in this case, this networking round only features academic programs and projects that are outside of the DSI Africa consortium. And what you'll see are 5 breakout rooms for this round. They've been grouped by the region in Africa where the institutions are based. And I should clarify that the presentations are from researchers or research groups within these different universities, not necessarily representative of the full university. So the first breakout room features 3 programs from the West Africa region. The second breakout room also features programs from West Africa. The third breakout room features projects and programs from East Africa. Fourth breakout room features these projects and programs from North and Southern Africa. And finally, the last breakout room features projects from outside of Africa, but that are working in Africa, working with partners in Africa. So once again, you have a choice of these 5 different breakout rooms. And you'll soon see, if you don't already see, a pop-up that gives you the option of choosing one of the breakout rooms. If you don't see that, you can always go to the Zoom toolbar at the bottom of your screen, and there should be a button that looks like this, like a 4 square that has that's with the words breakout room. If you don't see this, you may try to click on the 3 dots that you'll see on your toolbar, and that should give you the option for breakout rooms. And finally, if you have any other difficulty finding the breakout room option, you can use the chat and and let us know which room you'd like to move into, and you can get started there. So for anyone who's presenting on behalf of these institutions, please go to the room right away, and there'll be a facilitator there to help you with the session. For everyone else, please go ahead and move into the breakout room of your choice, and let us know in the chat if you have any difficulty. Great, thank you. So thanks again, everyone. We're now at our final part of our program today, and we're really pleased to have Ivana Jelic join us from the Chan Zuckerberg Initiative. Ivana is a science program manager there, and if you're not familiar with the Chan Zuckerberg Initiative, it's an exciting program that's really focused on eradicating disease and improving education through a combination of philanthropy and technology. Ivana is the lead on their computational biology strategy with a big interest in machine learning and data science. And some of you may recognize her that she provided a short presentation at the last networking exchange, and we've invited her back to share a bit more information and also to take some Q&A with the audience. So Ivana is going to share with us a short presentation, and because we are still a fairly large group, we ask you to use the chat if you have any questions, and once we get to that point, I'll help pull out the questions from the chat box. So without further ado, hand the floor over to you, Ivana.
Thank you so much, Amit, and good evening, afternoon, morning to all of you that are joining. It is still morning for me. I'm on the East Coast in US, and really excited to join you today and share about CZI and some of the opportunities that are applicable to those of you that are joining from Africa. Can you see my screen? Perfect. And so thank you also, Amit, for invitation to present today and for introduction. And again, hi, everyone. I'm Ivana Jelic. I'm a science program manager at CZI. And I will provide you with a brief overview of CZI for those of you that maybe didn't join last time, and then I'll share some of the opportunities, especially a funding opportunity that just opened up yesterday that may be relevant to some of you on a call. And so with that, Chan Zuckerberg was founded in 2015 to help solve some of the society's toughest challenges, from eradicating disease and improving education to addressing the needs of our communities. And so supporting the science and technology that will make it possible to cure, prevent, or manage all diseases by the end of this century is our mission. And so with that long-term mission in mind, our 10 years goal is to advance research and develop technologies to measure human biology in action. And this means understanding the mysteries of the cell and how cells interact in systems. And I didn't include in these slides because this was just announced yesterday, but feel free to take a look at our website and some of the social media posts that Mark and Priscilla provided this announcement about AI cluster that will enable this work and research in biology that will help us understand mysteries of cells and model what we call virtual cell to enable that work. And so at CZI, we have 5 major programs. This includes Imaging, Neurodegeneration Challenge Network, Open Science, Single Cell Biology, and Science in Society. And each of these programs in their own way aims to support experiments that accelerate science, build tools and resources for and with scientists, and change the culture of science. On single cell biology program, we want to understand the human body and diverse diseases at the level of fundamental unit of life, which is a single cell. And so we accelerate single cell biology methods, technologies, and applications with a goal to support the generation, assembly, and use of healthy single cell references that clarify cellular disease mechanisms. And this is also related to Human Cell Atlas project that some of you may be familiar with. Our approach has 3 pillars, and so build, fund, and do. And to quote CZI's head of science, Steve Quake, by funding great science, doing the research that can't be done in conventional environments, and building hardware and software tools for everyone, we think we can help accelerate the pace of scientific discovery. And today I will share some of the funding opportunities as well as data and tools that are available for researchers and practitioners doing AI, data science, and single cell related work and research anywhere in the world, but relevant to you in Africa. And so I would like to highlight a funding program that is led by a single cell biology team that invites applications from researchers worldwide. This program is motivated by the rapid growth and generation of large amounts of data from a variety of tissues and organs within the field. The increase in currently available data sets creates a timely opportunity to build and expand the computational biology ecosystem to enable coordinated progress on tools that are necessary to reuse data and help scientists gain greater insights into both health and disease. And so the specific grant opportunity incentivizes community of experts to make progress on computational challenges using only available single cell data sets. And so any kind of data generation is out of scope for this program. And so this is a multi-cycle granting program. We already funded 2 cohorts, and they add up to about 38 projects. You can see examples of topics that were funded in previous cycles, and I can share after this a link for more details about funded projects in chat for anyone interested, but you can also search Data Insights CZI, and it will show up on Google. What's really exciting is that we just launched the 3rd cycle of this program yesterday. And you can see the focus areas that include meta-analysis of single cell data sets or collections that highlight their characteristics, usability, and utility, and enable insight in more specific biological questions that unlock mysteries of the cell and how cells interact in systems. And so this is directly feeding into our 3-year, 5-year North Star that I shared earlier. Projects that aim to predict cellular responses to perturbations or model regulatory networks are within scope. I will not read all of those, but please feel free to take a note of this or take a look at our website. This is also available on our website. with some additional details about what successful projects should look like, and what are some of the specific areas that we're seeking applications for. And with AI and machine learning and data science being successfully applied to many problems in this domain, we are really excited to receive applications that leverage these impactful tools. And also feel free to share this information with your networks. One of our goals is to reach more researchers and receive applications from African countries. And so please feel free to either apply or share with your colleagues. To learn more and stay up to date with available granting opportunities, you can go to our website. And so this is janzuckerberg.com/science/science funding. We do have several other funding opportunities available at the moment, including EOSS, which is Essential Open Software project that our Open Science team is leading. And so switching from funding, I would also like to share a tool that our engineering team has developed. This is Cell by Gene, with features that allow users to search and access over 800 data sets, to visually explore any of these data sets from their browser through Cell by Gene Discover feature, learn more about specific cell types via Cell Guide. This tool actually is the newest feature on Cell by Gene, and it's using ChatGPT to generate definitions of cells. Of course, this is curated by a team of scientists, but it's exciting application of some of these large language models and generative AI technologies. And then also on Cell by Gene, one can programmatically query and access the entire data corpus from your favorite programming language. Actually, only 2 are supported for right now. And so we have Census API for Python and R, which instead of downloading 800 data sets locally, allows you to, in your Python or R notebook, query this large data corpus for just cells or data that is relevant to your research, and then use that locally, which saves a lot of time, but also computational resources and space. I also wanted to include a few projects that are using these data resources as examples of impactful projects that are solving important biological problems. And so these 2 projects are from Marinka Zhitnik's group at Harvard, and one of them aims to develop a unified ecosystem of AI-powered API endpoints, data and model benchmarks, and large-scale pre-trained AI models that integrate cell census and therapeutics data commons. If you're not familiar with this platform, I would also encourage you to look it up. It's a great platform that bridges clinical research and researchers with machine learning and AI communities through machine learning challenges. And so this breaks down these problems into machine learning problems and provides data sets and metrics and baselines for tackling them using some of these novel technologies. And then a second project that has a goal to catalyze single-cell research on new therapies using single-cell atlases to provide a missing link between genes, cells, and therapies. And this project also involves using single-cell data from Cell by Gene, in addition to other data sources, to train these large language models to learn representations and contexts for drug repurposing. And to continue with some of the other examples, and we support some of this research. This is not done directly at CZI, but SCGPT is another example of large language model that comes from University of Toronto and Bo Wang's group. And they successfully trained this GPT-like model on over, actually I need to update this, over 60 million cells from cell by gene. And what this entailed was training this, learning these embeddings of large cell by gene matrix, which then provide insight into underlying cellular states and active biological pathways. And these models have been successfully applied to many tasks and many for many challenges in single cell biology, and so to include data integration and batch correction, cell annotation, perturbation prediction, and so on. And so this is what I think makes them the most powerful, that this one model can be fine-tuned and applied to so many downstream tasks with minimal additional compute resources, and that just opens up so many new opportunities. Other examples of projects in this space include these other embedding models, like universal cell embeddings that come from Stanford and SC Bird and Former, Gene Former, and so on. What is also really relevant and impactful about these models is that all of them are open sourced and available for anyone that is interested in applying them to their own data or their own projects to gain some additional insight. And so I wanted to share them with you in case anyone is really interested in applying them to either their own data or getting data from cell by gene and like platforms, and then solving some of the interesting biological problems with them. And so just to recap and highlight some of the CZI support and opportunities for researchers in Africa, we do have free and accessible data resources such as cell census that can be used to develop models that can in turn be used to solve impactful biological questions, accessible tools for data analysis such as cell by gene and NAPARI. I didn't talk about NAPARI today, but this is a tool that our imaging team is supporting, and so this is for image analysis. And this tool also contains a lot of wrappers that can be used to solve a lot of image analysis related questions. Accessible methods for data-driven applications. I mentioned a few AI methods that the community is developing or that CZI is supporting, that can be used to tackle some of the projects that your groups may be working on. Funding, and so again, Data Insights RFA is open and will remain open. I didn't mention this through December 5th. And so we'll accept applications between now and December 5th. And really welcome any applications that address a specific biological question using existing data sets. And lastly, I didn't get a chance to talk about this today, but maybe I can save that for next time. Building capacity in low and mid-income countries. And so this includes providing training as well as supporting networks of researchers that are doing biology-related or computational biology-related research in these countries. And you can find more information about these efforts on our website as well. But I'm happy to answer any questions related to that if anyone has any. And with that, I would like to again thank you for having me today, and I'm excited to answer any questions if there are some.
Yeah, thank you so much, Ivana. That was really wonderful to learn so much about what CZI is doing in this space. Is a really great presentation. And now we'd love to take some questions. So feel free to raise your hand or put a question in the chat to our audience. And I'll help facilitate as the questions come in. While we're waiting for questions to start, Ivana, I do think that this community would be really interested in hearing more about those training opportunities you mentioned. Would you mind just sharing a little bit more about that? And to the audience, please feel free to raise your hand or put questions in the chat while she's responding.
Happy to. So we just partnered with Wellcome and co-hosted computational biology and genomic training in Latin America. So that I can also provide probably links to that as well, because some of the resources may be available. And so our efforts in this space are just getting started. And so we started with training in Latin America, but we would like to expand that in other countries, including countries in Africa, and provide that capacity building for computational research. There are also other efforts within CZI for example, grant writing, or for different aspects of applying to grants that are freely available. And so I know that last time there was a survey in this kind of a meeting where researchers from Africa highlighted some of the challenges that they experience when applying for research from organizations and funding entities from US in particular. And one of the things that came up was writing grants and maybe lack of experience in doing so. And so we do have some resources on our website for that as well. And yeah, I think maybe that summarizes it.
Yeah, thank you so much. And there's another question that came up in the chat about if you can provide links or for opportunities that are open to researchers from Africa versus ones that might be restricted. Can you talk a little bit about more which opportunities are open to this community?
Absolutely, yes. And sorry for actually not mentioning that. So all of our opportunities, unless we have specific ones, like we had some for East Asia, for example, all of our other opportunities are open to anyone worldwide. And so we don't have any restrictions, again, unless it's a targeted opportunity for a specific region or specific type of research. But all other opportunities are open to anyone, and we don't require a partner from US institution as some of the other funding organizations do.
That's great. Thank you for that. And would you recommend people go to the website that you mentioned, the science funding link? Is that the best place to go to find opportunities?
That is, and thank you for sharing it in chat. That is the best place, and it's always up to date and includes all the different programs from CZI. So not only single cell, which is the one that I'm a part of, but imaging and open science and neurodegenerative diseases as well.
All right, thank you. That question was from Salim Dewani from the AI4D lab located in Tanzania. Another question from Tess Mersha, grant funding related with single cell is great. However, data science training, expanding some of the stuff that we're doing with DSI Africa may provide more opportunities and lead to expertise on analyzing single cell. And I wonder, Tess, if you'd like, you're welcome to unmute yourself and ask a little bit more about your comment here, if you'd like.
Yeah, thank you. I was trying, single cell in African context, my view is not yet matured, and asking grants for single cell is really premature. So better would be to fund data science, health type of data science, where people can train and eventually analyze the data. So I'm not quite sure how many expertise exist right now in single cell in Africa.
Yeah. Thank you.
That's a great point. And so some of the training opportunities that we're experimenting with and exploring should address that. And so we started with Latin America, but we're going to explore and find ways to expand this in other regions and other countries as well. And so the goal of that program was actually to provide both lab training and computational training so that the researchers can be equipped with enough knowledge that they can apply to some of the problems that they want to address with these tools and existing data resources, which generating new data sets and data resources in this space is extremely expensive because it requires access and knowledge on how to run some of these sequencers, which are not available probably in many countries. And so that's why we are funding projects that are using existing data sets, but absolutely acknowledging that some of the data science and data analysis skills are still needed.
Yeah, thank you, Ivana, and thank you, Tess. We have Salim Dewani. I invite you to unmute yourself if you'd like to add to verbalize your question. Or I'll go ahead and read it. But Salim, you're welcome to unmute if you'd like to add on to this. But the comment in question, they're working on establishing an AI lab in Tanzania that will be used for most African countries. And wondering if you have any suggestions on infrastructure design or documentation, any information that can help think through some of those questions around infrastructure and capacity. Ivana, would you like to respond?
So we actually have a team that is working on creating this large AI cluster for CZI, and that was just announced yesterday as well. And so Salim, I would be happy to put you in touch with someone from that team and have them share some of their considerations and knowledge related to setting that up. And perhaps that would have more. Infrastructure is not my domain expertise, and so I would defer that to my colleagues. But yeah, happy to put you in touch with some of them from that group.
Yeah. Thank you.
Yes.
Are there other questions? Feel free to raise your hand, and you can unmute your microphone, or you can use the chat to the audience. Any more questions for Ivana? We do have a few more minutes. Are there any other questions? And I'd also invite some of the organizing team from NIH and from the DSI Africa Coordinating Center. If you had any questions or comments or announcement that might relate to the questions we've been having, feel free to raise your hand. Right, so hearing no more comments or questions, let me just say, Ivana, thank you so much for joining us today. We're really glad to have you back, and thanks you for sharing these exciting opportunities. We'd love to keep in touch and help you share those opportunities with our communities and vice versa. We also hope that we can share some of the things that we're working on through DSI Africa with your community, and that's really the goal of this whole activity. So thank you again. If you have any final words, can hand the floor to you for a moment.
I just wanted to thank you for inviting me, and it's always a pleasure to participate in these events and share and learn about your opportunities and what groups are working on. Also, if any questions come up after this, feel free to reach out. My email is JELIC, so like my first initial last name at janzuckerberg.com. You can also reach out via LinkedIn. And I would be happy to answer any questions if something comes up later.
Great. Thank you so much. Ivana, if you don't mind just dropping your email into the chat, I think that might be helpful for folks. For everyone else, I'm just going to put one slide up on the screen, and maybe I can invite Francis to just really briefly remind everyone about some of the upcoming opportunities of how to stay involved and engaged with DSI Africa. So maybe, Francis, could I hand the floor to you to just remind everyone about these?
Yeah, sure. And apparently I've received quite a couple of emails with regards to that. So the first is the DSI Africa News Flash. We send out this news flash every month, and then it contains upcoming opportunities, funding opportunities, training opportunities, DSI Africa events, and other training resources that is specific to data science. For you to get involved, you would have to subscribe to the mailing list, and that is the link on the screen. But then we could put that in the chat as well, or you can find the subscription link on the DS Africa website. So you can subscribe to the news flash, and then you get to stay in touch with DS Africa and all the activities within the consortium. The next is the Partnerships and Outreach Working Group. This group is open to everyone and not necessarily DSI Africa projects only. So all the participants for this call could decide to sign up to this working group, and you are more than welcome to do so. And then you receive communication with regards to the monthly working group meetings and activities of the consortium. So many of you are asking how to get involved, and this is one of the ways to get involved. And finally, we will be having our third DSI Africa Consortium meeting. It is taking place in Kigali, Rwanda, from the 3rd to the 10th of November. If you are interested, some sections of this meeting is open. So for example, the day one of the meeting is open, but unfortunately you would have to fund yourself. We will also host an in-person networking exchange, similar to what we have virtually, but that one will be in person, where we have different organizations and different people, career researchers attending. So all the participants for that in-person meeting will have more or less like a poster stand, and they can talk to the poster. So yeah, so I see in the chat that we could put all of these things in the chat. So my colleague Tino had already put the link to the news flash, and I'm reposting it again. The Partnership and Outreach Working Group, I'll find it and also put in the chat. Yeah, so that is the main 3 upcoming activities of the consortium.
All right, thank you. Thanks so much, Francis. And there is a request for the information about the consortium meeting. I think that is coming soon on the DSI Africa website. So if you look to the DSI Africa website, you might find it, or you might find it soon, more details about how to express interest in attending the consortium meeting. I think at this point, we'll go ahead and conclude. And just say thank you, everyone. This was a very long event, but we really appreciate your participation. And we'll, as Francis mentioned, be sure to sign up for the DSI Africa email list so you can hear about future activities such as this, as well as the consortium meeting and the Partnerships and Outreach Working Group. So we encourage you to participate. We really appreciate your participation today. And thank you. Have a good rest of your day. Bye, everyone.
Thank you, everyone.
Bye. Bye.